for the olive boys down in the house of corrections, as they try for love and any form of ascension. Am I on the right train, headed in the wrong direction? What say you, Lord? What say you, Lord?
Hello there, all my magnificent Breaking Bad babes. My name is Emily Sophia, for those of you who don't know me. In fact, I don't know if I entirely know myself right now. I am currently in the process of attempting to reinsert my soul into my physical being, because it's not yet my time, and yet I feel that within any minute my breathing may cease entirely. So as I try to recuperate and bring myself to a state where I can really actually say words about what transpired tonight. Spoiler alert, by the way. You'd be a sorry soul to trespass any further, but in the meantime, as I try to re-understand my life, I'm going to read you a lovely little poem by Percy Bysshe Shelley entitled Ozymandias. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half shrunk, sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far, far away." The end. Good night, kids. Have a good one. Peace. I'm done. At any rate, so that, of course, is the poem upon which I can only assume, or from which I can only assume the writers drew the name for the episode title tonight. And, you know, just a show of hands. Not that I can exactly see you guys, but have any of you raise your hand if you have seen an episode in a show that was more intense than this particular episode? If I see any hands, then I expect a full explanation, 12-point font, double space, 200 pages due tonight, because I'm curious, okay, children? I am curious, because I don't think that I have ever borne witness to something as insane as what just transpired. I literally almost injured myself during, and this is ironic, during the scene where Skylar goes a little cuckoo bananas, and of course, you know, the camera's sitting right behind, you know, there's the phone and the knives. The phone and the knives. And so I immediately knew the twist that things were going to take, but as soon as, you know, as soon as Skylar had Walter Jr. behind her and she was going all mama bear status, you know, and we see Walter is at the end of the hall, he's got the suitcases, he's like, "Hey kids, we're going to Disneyland. I don't know about y'all, but let's go. Okay, we're gonna beat the lines, it'll be real nice." I mean, it's amazing. Walter has an infinite capacity for innuendo, and what a man. The man, the myth, the monster. At any rate, that scene was just, I am wrecked to this very day, I say that like this happened years ago, but honestly, I feel traumatized, and I don't know if AMC forgot to call me and let me know, you know, where we're gonna be having the AA meeting, because I need a little help. I need some community here. I need a little bit of kumbaya and candles and ice cream and Kleenex boxes, okay? Because this is not okay in any way, shape, or form. This is not a show meant to be dealt with alone. And at any rate, as soon as Skylar jabbed at him, and I could sense the energy was just so raw and real, there was no way that a blow was not going to be dealt. But I have these two rings on my hand, and I actually have I accidentally once upon a time cut the back of my hand with my rings because someone was tickling me and they held me like this, and I tried to break free and I went Kah! And I almost did that again. I almost opened up this scar that I have had for over like 3 years on the back of my hand. I almost reopened that wound, totally unrelated to Breaking Bad, but I almost got another wound in the same place because of Breaking Bad. So I'm just a little bit chilled inside that this show is incurring this kind of reaction, and we still have 2 episodes somehow. I literally feel like every character in the show just died. And then, you know, I guess that paves the way for the prequel spin-off series that's coming out, Better Call Saul. Maybe that's what I need to do. I need to call Saul and get some counseling. I'm sure he could hook me up if I paid him, and I'm a little desperate. God, wow, just they pulled out all the stops. No breaks, none of that funny business. We are all in. And now we know exactly how we got from violent point A to violent point B. And I don't know how I feel about anything, because I literally feel like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like everyone just died. Like an atomic bomb just came right on down on little old Albuquerque, and the rest of the series is gonna be, you know, watching the ghosts duke it out. And then we're gonna go all Ghostbusters, and, you know, it's gonna turn into a sci-fi mystical adventure, which I'd be okay with, because I am taking this very seriously inside. And God, I can't even begin to just walk through all of this in a linear, sensical way. I just feel like I walked out of a hurricane somehow, and I'm pretty sure that it is, in fact, my ghost making this vlog. So hopefully she does a better job than I could do as a living human being. At any rate, so something I want to talk about with you guys, and I apologize for not having had the time recently to respond to other comments on my vlogs. I do my best to look at them when I can. I've got 3 essays due tomorrow, okay? It's as if they knew that I was having my Sunday night television, and they're like, all right, let's put you to the ultimate test of your loyalties and, you know, and of emotions. So, question number 1. I'm starting with the very end of the episode here. Why do you think that Walter, you know, the phone call that he made back home, you know, E.T. phoning home here before he blasts off to the nether regions, okay? Why do you think that he spoke the way he did? Because it is clear when we see him, just the cinematography is brilliant, as always. Praise the Lord. You know, we see the back of his head before we can even see the expression on his face as he's talking, and just the vehemence. And this is, you know, the last living breath of Ozymandias, the great king of kings, you know, and he's just railing Skylar and letting her have it. And then as soon as, you know, we see between every phrase, every breath, is just Niagara Falls everywhere. And so clearly he isn't taking to heart each word that he's saying, or this isn't coming from the exact place where he is consciously or subconsciously. You know, clearly he's doing something, and I was struggling so hard to understand in that moment, you know, why he spoke the way he did. You know, like he has never hurt Skylar, at least in the sense that we usually think of, you know, in the sense that Marie thought of as soon as she found out everything, and Hank did as well, you know, assuming that there was some abuse, and that had never been a part of the equation for Walt. And, you know, even with what transpired at the very end before he skedaddled on out of there, you know, what place is he truly in? And I think, you know, that we can kind of see that in what he does with Holly, in freaking like putting her in the fire truck, like, and yet, God, I don't know. So I just wanted to open that particular scene up for discussion, because that is driving me bananas inside, and I just wanted to, you know, see what you guys think his motive there. I mean, clearly we see that the guy, you know, he's getting his one-way ticket to brand new existence, which he was going to attempt to grab with the family, and they weren't so quick to get on the Disneyland train. But that was just insane. The acting was, it was acting? Like, was that even? Because I feel like I just watched my entire family get murdered by a rabid pack of wolves. Right there and then. God. I seriously feel like just talking about this, what is there to say? What is there to say? I mean, there is so much mourning inside of me, and just loathing and devastation of practically every kind. I will be fully disappeared into the sweater by the time we're done here. But just sheer brilliance. And I'm excited in a sort of kind of way to see where we pick up next time. I mean, what can I say? What is there to even say? You know, and what are the other loose ends that were, you know, that we have yet to see tied up as well? I mean, what is going to become of what remains of the great and powerful empire of Walt and of Jesse, and what is going to happen with Jesse, where he's at? Are he and Walter ever gonna get back together, or at least cross paths until, you know, somebody's temper particularly snaps in an obscene way, and what's done is done? But I have so many questions, and yet there's so much that is fulfilled as well, and the story just went above and beyond. I mean, whew, I like 10 minutes in, Hank and Gomi are in the dust, and that final scene with Hank was just, we all knew, you know? We all could sense the direction of things, and just the heightening desperation of Walter. You know, every time that Walter is flailing about, whether he is metaphorically or physically losing his pants, most of the time he is without pants. Let us just be real. That flashback at the beginning, by the way, I was just so upset. They dangle that lovely little carrot of nostalgia in front of us, you know, hanging it from that fishing pole, and we're chasing after it like, let's go back to the good old days. And then, but we know, as soon as we see Walter, you know, fade into the distance, we see the RV fade into the oblivion, and Jesse doing his supreme kung fu, whatever the crap it is. I tip my hat to you, sir. This is not a hat, but I'll make do. And then we move right back to where we were. I knew that Gomez was going down. I didn't know about Hank, and yet at the same time, in no universe would we see Walter roaming free in a world where Hank is living, you know? In no universe, no world, planet, solar system, Milky Way. I'm just saying, you know, and it's especially, that is revealed so powerfully in their final dialogue with the way that Walter is just flailing and throwing himself down before Hank, and he's like, "You gonna make me beg?" And that is such a Hank thing to say. I listened to his rendition of Eye of the Tiger before watching the episode, and you know, just to kind of fill me with auditory courage, and it was not quite enough to carry me through to the end. I do hope and pray that if there is a funeral held for him, that everyone will sing Eye of the Tiger, because I think that is incredibly, overwhelmingly necessary. That is going down. But it was an incredibly powerful moment. And then just the way that Walter just crashes down. Like, I love how crazy, ridiculously consistent Walter's character has remained throughout, and yet the volatility is off the charts as much as ever, and it keeps us guessing. And yet it's the fact that he is somehow incredibly characteristic in everything that he does, but half the damn time we don't know what he's gonna do. And that's what makes this show so delicious in the worst kind of way. It goes right to your thighs, and it puts on the pounds of intensity, and there is no burning them off. No matter how much adrenaline gets rushing in your system, no matter how many times you die over the course of an episode, the weight, it remains with you. Us Breaking Bad fans, we got some curves. I'm just saying. But that was just enormously powerful, and the way the entire scene was pulled off, I could not have imagined it going any other way. It was just so well acted, the way the interactions go, the way Todd is like constantly. Todd is such an interesting character as well, and I'm intrigued to kind of see where things go in the aftermath of all of this. Right now, he's got Jesse on the leash, but this little puppy, I would not endeavor to say that he's content to stay there. I am incredibly thankful that he made it out of the episode, but again, I still pretty much feel like I lost everyone I love in one foul swoop. And what freaking else? I mean, the episode just felt so whole in itself, and yet there's still so much room and space to go in the story. With Walter Jr., that could not have possibly been more devastating. The scene where Marie and Skylar are laying it down and he is throwing it in their face, you know. He is like Jesse in that he is like the one other moral compass of this show, and he's so eager to believe his dad and to cling to everything that he's had, you know, because I mean, can you blame the kid? Can you blame him for anything? And just the way that he has to pick loyalties in that last desperate minute in the house, and when we see Walter standing in the room, the way the camera looks down at Skylar and Walter Jr. as they're just there on the floor, absolutely cowering in fear. And the expression that just goes over Walter's face, it is like his flesh has been peeled back over his scalp, and he is just completely and utterly exposed. Because guess why? Daddy entered the whole business. Guess why they're going to Disneyland in the first place? And this was all for them. And that was the only way that he could justify any of this to himself. And when he is staring into the barrel of a loaded gun, that being his family in their complete 100% case closed resistance to making this whole thing work, he comes right back face to face with the same futility that he was staring down in the very first season when he found out that he had cancer and he had done nothing with his life to make him even feel like he could possibly be ready to die. Boom. That is what I got from that moment. And there was kind of this crazy parallelism in the episode. Like, it was sort of bookended by two uncannily similar scenes. You know, we see the phone call that he makes from out in the desert before everyone in the world hates each other, you know, back in those good times when the lies were as white as a bridal gown and all was pretty peachy. And then at the very end, he's making another phone call to Skylar about Holly again, and yet it's I don't even know what to say. Like, that last scene is just haunting me in such a crazy way, and I'm trying to pick it apart. I mean, God, I just wish now would be a really convenient time for me to make my full transformation into a psychopath, because then I can just transfer all my emotions into that state and they'll disappear and it'll all be okay, you know? That'll be good. I can jive with that. At any rate, so there is a sort of parallelism in just, you know, seeing how far he's come and trying to figure out what his approach is going to be from here on out. Has he fully resigned, or, you know, is he resigned to the fact that he's never going to get his family again, and that everything that he has done has been for him? And the way that you know, something that felt very real to me in the whole discussion with Skylar at the end, you know, in the midst of whatever else might have been a lie and a front that he was trying to put up in his ridiculous freaking pride. But when he starts freaking out, like, you just had to ask me where I was getting the money. You just had to stick your nose in it. Like, he's going like 7-year-old schoolboy status there. And I mean, I was kind of like laughing in terror at that point. You know, it kind of makes me think of Crawl Space. You know, and if we're comparing this episode to Crawl Space, then let's call this episode, Journey to the Center of the freaking universe, because that is how far down we are digging ourselves. Kind of a long title, and I'm kind of ripping it off from a cheesy old movie, but I digress. Anyways, so please share with me your favorite scenes or the scenes that made you want to vomit the most, on a scale of like I irped to like projectile explosions that are like blasting through the walls. You know, how did this make you feel? Or how did certain instances make you feel? Is Walter gonna continue to even be connected with his business in any way? Is he gonna go try and get revenge on somebody? Because I mean, there's a lot of people that he could pick bones with if in fact he wanted to. But yeah, I love the scene where he's just he's rolling his barrel through the desert after his car breaks down, and I like the song there as well. Those little moments, they'll always, I love those musical themes that they insert, because they always just work so well. And the lyrics are, you know, money's getting hard. That it is. I could have also done something like, you know, rolling, rolling, rolling. But I guess that's a little bit cliche. Just a pinch. And when he just walks up and like buys that guy's truck from him, I wish that would happen to me someday. Just like somebody will be like, hey, can I buy, like, is that your jacket? Why, yes it is. This is my jacket. I like it a lot. It's covered in comics, actually. And they're like, can I buy it? And I'll be like, not so sure. And then they pull out a lot of cash and I'm like, well, I guess I'm either going to Disneyland or I'm taking a nice cruise to Belize. And hopefully we'll remain alive in that process. I mean, that's the plan for me. I want to see Mike. I miss Mike, dang it. And now Hank's gonna be there, you know. sipping a martini. All my friends are gonna be in Belize by the time Breaking Bad ends and Dexter ends. I'm going to Belize, guys, okay? Case closed, class dismissed. That's what's going down. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Again, this episode, I don't think I've ever seen a single episode so insane, so just full of movement and action and pain, and that was just on a volcanic scale. I feel like I have been touched with radioactive poisoning, and that I am going to wake up and have superpowers, and then I will blast off into space. I'll go to Belize and I'll hang out with my friends, and we'll laugh and we'll cry and we'll joke and we'll sing Kumbaya and have chocolate and Kleenexes, and well, you won't eat the Kleenexes, but they'll just be there just in case we laugh so hard that we cry. But yeah, so phenomenal stuff. Only 2 episodes left, and my soul is ready? Question mark. Dear freaking Lord, Jesse, I beseech you, do not die, because I'll go talk to Mr. Gilligan about said issue. But and also we need to get a little cover up. We need to clean up that two-face going on. Okay? Okay. We're gonna take care of it. I promise. I promise. Oh, and by the way, Jane, finally something is said about her. You know, I tweeted this out earlier when I was live tweeting the episode. Breaking Bad, it's like an elephant. It never forgets. There is not a single detail that is just kind of left to fade off into the oblivion, and that was just a powerful moment, because basically what Walter is saying right then and there, you know, when he plays I Spy with my little eye, Mr. Pinkman, under the freaking car, whoops-a-daisy, you're in trouble, you know, he's showing that Jesse's life is as much in his hands as Jane was. And look what happened to the lady friend who was sleeping right next to you. I mean, just so many powerful lines exchanged, and just the way that everything just hurt me inside. So, well, that will be all. I'm burning up here. Time for me to get ready to possibly be devastated by Dexter, if there's, you know, my soul is even slightly recovered by then and I'm not a total psychopath drained of all empathy and ability to feel, because that just might happen. But you guys are amazing. Follow me on Twitter and Tumblr and stuff. I do things on those social media sites. Oh, and Facebook too. I do things there a lot. Yeah, you guys are wonderful. I can't wait to do The Walking Dead. I am still tuning into AMC despite how much they hurt me, and there's much, much more to come here. So stick around, be a pal, and I'll be back before you know it. Take care, you guys.